My number one pass catcher in this year's draft is a really easy one. Let's not overthink it. We've known he was going to be the best pass catcher in this draft for a long time. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State.
Ohio State University has been a wide receiver factory in recent years, churning out instant NFL stars such as Terry McLaurin, Michael Thomas, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and Jackson Smith-Jigba. Another Buckeye will be entering the league this year, and he might just be the best of the lot. Marvin Harrison Jr. has the bloodlines to suggest a big career is on the way, and his tape will tell you this is one of the most polished wide receiver prospects we have ever seen. The NFL is terrified of this kid, and this is his story. If the name Marvin Harrison Jr. rings a bell, that's because his father spent 13 years tearing up the league for the Colts. Harrison racked up 14,580 yards and 128 touchdowns on his way to winning a Super Bowl, 8 all-team selections, and being the league's leading wide receiver twice. The 6-foot receiver was a force to be reckoned with on the field, earning a Hall of Fame induction for his efforts. Coming in at 4 inches taller and with an even more impressive college career under his belt, Marvin Harrison Jr. looks to be following in his footsteps. Marvin's journey to becoming a hot NFL draft prospect started in high school in Philadelphia. After beginning his career at LaSalle College High School, the Harrison family decided to move Marvin to a better program at St. Joseph's Preparatory School. It took some time to adjust to the day in and day out physical and educational grind at St. Joe's. But once Harrison got his feet under him, it was clear he was on a path to greatness. Thanks to his impressive athleticism, Marvin Harrison Jr. excelled in both football and basketball. But with a name like that, there is only one sport that can become the priority. He formed a good connection with starting quarterback Kyle McCord, and the pair helped lead the team to 3 consecutive state championships. McCord and Harrison broke several records along the way, with Harrison's 2,625 receiving yards and 37 touchdowns, marking new Philadelphia Catholic League all-time bests. Harrison's maturity in his route running made him unstoppable at a young age, constantly finding open space and racking up record-breaking statistics. His physical skill set was already elite and would continue to develop, but his mental outlook on the game is another aspect that makes him stand out. When breaking the previous Philadelphia Catholic League record, Harrison wasn't even aware of what he had achieved. His quarterback, Kyle McCord, said, "Marvin is about the team and the team's success, much more than he is about any individual stats. So it doesn't surprise he didn't know he broke the record. It is this kind of maturity and winning mentality that he will have learned from his Hall of Fame father. And it is that kind of mentality that will make him a beast in the pro game." There was plenty of interest in Marvin as he wrapped up his high school career. He earned himself a 4-star ranking and offers from the likes of LSU, Florida, Michigan, Texas A&M, and Penn State. He was a man in high demand, and the team that got the winning tickets were the Ohio State Buckeyes. The presence of Brian Hartline in the OSU coaching room is ultimately what tempted him over. Harrison Jr. had acted like a professional his whole career, and in Hartline, he saw someone who could truly get the best out of him. In an interview with Pat McAfee, Harrison said, "We are all very talented, but he develops your mind more than anything. And I truly believe your mind can take you places that your body can't." In another interview, he went on to discuss how Hartline doesn't just coach receivers to run better routes and catch the ball, but how growing mentally and understanding different ways to approach situations can make just as much of a difference. The maturity and respect for the process are some of the things that make Marvin so special, and undoubtedly something he learned from watching his father while growing up. When you combine that attitude with his freakish skill set, it's no wonder that he has produced as much as he has already. At the time of joining the Buckeyes, Marvin Harrison Jr. found himself tucked behind 2 very talented receivers in Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. Both players had already established themselves as special playmakers and would continue to dazzle during Harrison's first year with the team. As a result, the 2021 season was a quiet one for Harrison, catching just 5 receptions for 68 yards in the regular season. Fans were patiently waiting to see what their exciting new freshman could do, and it took until the last game of the season for Harrison to be properly unleashed. With the Buckeyes out of the college playoffs and Olave and Wilson preparing for the draft, Harrison was elevated to starting duties for the Rose Bowl fixture against Utah, where he capitalized on the opportunity by reeling in 6 receptions for 71 yards and 3 touchdowns. The game itself turned into a thrilling 48-45 affair, with Harrison's performance helping to edge his team over the line. In the game, Harrison displayed everything you want to see from a young wide receiver prospect, showing off his precise route running ability, quick separation at the line, and most importantly, the ability to perform in a high-pressure scenario. His 3-touchdown game was overshadowed by an insane 347-yard and 3-touchdown performance from sophomore receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba, but it was clear that Harrison was going to do good things over the next few years. Harrison entered his 2022 sophomore season as the starter, alongside Smith-Njigba, but he had to take on a much bigger role after his partner in crime suffered a hamstring injury that caused him to miss almost the whole season. Immediately being promoted to the focal point of the passing attack is a daunting situation for a sophomore. But Harrison took it in stride and thrived in the role. In his second game of the season, Harrison posted 7 receptions for 184 yards and 3 touchdowns, which he followed up with another 102 yards and 2 scores against Toledo the next week. Harrison had taken to the college game like a natural, quickly establishing himself as an alpha receiver who could do it all. With him as the #1 weapon on offense, Ohio State stormed to an unbeaten 11-0 record before suffering 2 devastating losses to Michigan and Georgia to close out the season. The latter was a high-pressure college playoff semifinal in which Harrison collected 106 yards and 2 scores, but the team fell short by just 1 point to miss out on a national championship appearance. Harrison's stat line in his first year as a starter featured an impressive 1,263 yards and 14 touchdowns, earning himself unanimous All-American and first-team All-Big Ten selections. The talented Buckeye was a dream to watch all year long, showcasing a skill set that many believed would make him a top draft pick 1 year later. He had everything that you wanted from a prospect. Bruce Feldman had placed him at #2 on his freaks list after his quiet freshman season, and he landed at the same spot on the list after his sophomore year as well. This list highlights players with otherworldly athleticism, which tells you all you need to know about Harrison's physical makeup. The 6'4" receiver towers over opponents, and his long arms give him a catch radius that is almost impossible to contend with. This is particularly lethal when considering it combines with excellent burst off the line and fluid route running ability at all depths. When the ball is in the air, Harrison has freakish body control, allowing him to contort his body at speed and make strong contested catches. It is an all-round wide receiver package to die for, resulting in quarterbacks having a quarterback rating of 135.5 when targeting him. That should make him very popular with NFL quarterbacks and offensive coordinators. If all of that isn't enough, Harrison was also clocked to have run 22.2 miles per hour on a touchdown reception as a junior in 2023. As a comparison, that would have been the quickest time recorded in the NFL in the 2023 season. Freak is the right way to sum up this guy. That 22-mile-per-hour dash came in week 2 of his junior season at Ohio State, kickstarting another dominant year as a Buckeye. Harrison passed the 100-yard mark in 8 of his 12 games in 2023, with his best performance coming against Penn State's top 5 defense. Against the Nittany Lions, Harrison reeled in 162 yards and a touchdown on 11 catches, proving his ability to go up against the best and come out on top. The team once again started with 11 straight wins to start the season, before another final week loss to Michigan meant that the playoffs were out of the equation. Nevertheless, Harrison posted 118 yards and a touchdown against college football's best defense, wrapping up a second consecutive season with over 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns. With no playoff action in the cards, Harrison opted out of the Buckeyes bowl game to focus on the draft. He finished his Buckeye career with 2,613 yards, which is good enough for 6th on the school's all-time yardage leaderboard, and 31 touchdowns, which is good enough for 3rd all-time. These achievements are even more impressive when you consider that he started just 2 seasons as a Buckeye. The NFL is the next destination for Marvin Harrison Jr., and there is very little doubt that he will be taken inside the top 5 picks. When it comes to wide receiver prospects, there are very few that come out with an all-around package like Harrison. His father achieved everything there is to achieve as a professional, and he will have offloaded all that knowledge and experience onto his son to give him the best possible chance to succeed. In an interview with the Big Ten Network, Marvin Harrison said that you cannot teach work ethic and that you always have to find room for improvement. This mentality has clearly rubbed off on his son, who has shown the composure and level-headedness of a professional from a young age. From not being too concerned about breaking records as a high schooler to appreciating the development potential under Brian Hartline at college, Marvin Harrison has executed the perfect blueprint to get to the NFL. What goes on between the ears is so crucial in professional sports, and he clearly has that in spades. What makes matters even more terrifying for NFL defenses is that he is overflowing with physical attributes as well. His quick releases and fluid route running ability means he can constantly create separation and find open space behind the defense. In situations where the defensive players do find themselves challenging Harrison, his big frame and excellent body control means that he often finds a way to come down with the ball anyway. That same big frame also makes him a sturdy contributor as a run blocker, which will only make him even more popular on offense. He excels at every aspect of the game, making him a true can't-miss prospect. At the top of the 2024 draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. was raised to be a pro by a Hall of Famer, and the NFL should be terrified of what's to come. Do you see him following in his father's footsteps? Let us know in the comments below.